What's happening, everybody? Today, we're going to go over what seems to be a fading but classic cooking method. Charcoal cooking, everybody. Seems like with propane and the rise of these pellet grills, a lot of people just don't know how to use charcoal. I've always been a Kingsford guy. Good food is expensive. What's another $1 or $2 for good charcoal? And I'm no Billy D. Williams, but it works every time. There's lots of different ways you can get your coal started. I'm going to show you 2 of those. Lighter fluid, which is the way I used to do it, or a charcoal starter, which is the way I do it now. Now, as you can see, everybody, I am not showing you how to do this on pristine equipment. But for the content of this particular video, I think that's actually kind of appropriate. These charcoal grills generally have 2 grates inside of them. This is your cooking surface, and this is where you're going to put your actual charcoal. All right, to judge how much charcoal you're going to need, and I'm starting out by showing you the lighter fluid method. Just dump it in and spread it out. And you can see if that covers the bottom of your grill, or if your charcoals are too overcrowded. So just kind of spread these around until it seems like you have about the right amount in there. You want them all in a single layer, kind of touching each other with just a little bit of space in between. That looks about right. But from there, you need to stack all these up. Just into a big old pile or a pyramid. Doesn't have to be pretty. Now that we got this stacked up pretty good, we're gonna go ahead and douse this with a pretty good amount of lighter fluid. Now, lighter fluid works great. Does its intended job very well. The only problem is a lot of times you can still taste the lighter fluid in your food, which is why I prefer method number 2, which we'll get into here in a minute. That should light up pretty easy. And then you just let it go. We'll go ahead and speed up the camera and see just about how long this is going to take. As your flames start to die down here, don't think you need to go spray it with charcoal lighter fluid again. Just let it go. You don't need to do anything to it until it's ready to cook on. We got in about 4 minutes and the flames went completely out. If you haven't done this before, you're going to think it's time to go spraying it down with lighter fluid again. Do not do that. Just let it go. Those coals are lit. So you can see those coals glowing nice and bright on the inside. They're mostly ashed over. These are almost ready to spread. So these have been going for about 18 minutes. They're not all completely ashed over. Every brick has some ash. This is about perfect. So we're going to spread this out evenly. We want to see the black left on these coals distributed evenly across the grill. You don't want any huge pockets of black coals and huge pockets of completely ashed over coals. This way you're going to ensure yourself a nice even cook. All right, that's pretty good. I always wait about 5 minutes before I put any food on the grill. Now, everybody, I'm going to show you how to use one of these charcoal starters. I picked this up at the local grocery store on sale for like 15 bucks. It's worth 5 times that easily. It makes it real easy to light the charcoal, plus you don't have to use any lighter fluid. Sometimes that lighter fluid taste can come through in the food. This totally alleviates that. So you'll notice there's a deep end and a shallow end. We're going to start off with that shallow end and just fill it up with some crumbled up paper. Newspaper is perfect. Old wrapping paper works great. I'm just using some old bills here, everybody. People I didn't want to hear from in the first place. So you're going to put that in there until it sticks. You definitely want to get it nice and full though, because you want that paper to burn long enough to light your coals. Stick that one in there for good measure. Alrighty. Now, just going to fill it up with coals. This will also help you figure out how much charcoal you're going to need. I'm just using this little rinky-dink grill here, so I'm getting it just a little bit less than full. Now just light that paper on fire. Once you're sure that paper is good and on fire, it's good to go, everybody. Just like when we piled it up the old-fashioned way, there's gonna come a time where you think your fire's out. Don't worry, everybody, it's lit. And we're just gonna let it sit just like this until those coals are good and ready. We'll see how long it takes. So as you can see, those very top coals there are just starting to turn gray on the bottom. So those aren't quite ready to cook over, but the ones on the bottom are the ones on the bottom of the starter here are good to go. So we don't want all the action in those to be gone. I'm gonna go ahead and dump these on out, everybody. Just like with the old-fashioned method, we're gonna try to spread out the ones that are all the way gray with the ones that are black. Get a good even mix there. These coals are actually looking pretty good. I wish it was evening time so you could see them glow. Here are 5 tips for success. Be mindful of the fat content of your food, everybody. Fatty foods are going to drip fat down onto those coals, and that's going to start flare-ups and catch your food on fire. So you want to spread that food around on the grill so that you have some room to move it if you have to. Now when you're grilling something lean, like chicken breast, you can go ahead and load up the grill a little bit more, everybody, because the fat's not going to be melting down and dripping onto your coals and starting a big flare up. Your thicker pieces towards the middle so that those will cook a little bit more. Put the more cooked pieces towards the outside so that those will slow down some. Play around with it, everybody. You'll notice there's 2 different things you can adjust here when you put the cover on. One on the bottom, if I open it up, I don't know if you can see that from where you are there, but every one of these grills has one of these. You can open up the vent on the bottom. The more it's opened up, the more oxygen gets to the fire and the hotter it burns. The one on the top here controls how much smoke you have in your grill. If you keep that closed, you're gonna get more smoke and it's gonna get smokier. If you open that all the way up, the smoke escapes and so does some of the heat. You'll have a lot better luck using tongs than you will with a spatula. You just need to cook it long enough to where it's not going to stick on the grill. Now, if you're going to glaze your chicken, everybody, you only want to do it for the last couple minutes. I recommend moving it over to the cooler part of the grill, giving it a brush right after you turn it. Okay, we're going to let that sit for about a minute, minute and a half, and flip it and glaze it again. Everybody, I hope you'll subscribe, like, maybe leave me a little comment. Sure helps the algorithm. I post new barbecue videos all the time, as well as reviews of Las Vegas's hottest barbecue joints. If you or anyone you know is considering a move within the Las Vegas area, I would love to be your realtor. Either call, text, or email, and we'll chat soon.